Now, Kellie is going to take over and talk to you from the perspective of a researcher and a clinician about the power of exercise. And I know we said that she'd submitted her PhD, but I'm here to tell you that she got her examination reports back yesterday and they were wonderful.
Thank you very much, Diane. Yes, I did get my results back and I'm relieved. I'll have the first Christmas in 6 years where I won't have to write a paper, which I'm a bit excited about. So it's been quite a big body of work, but it's been wonderful, and it has been in this space, the clinical oncology space, and with a little bit of a focus on ageing within that space. So I'm going to present some research today which isn't my own, it's some of my colleagues' research, but I think it's very, very interesting research and really applied to this setting, so it'd be really nice for you to have a bit of a refresh. I'm sure you probably know some of the information I'm going to tell you anyway. But before we get started, just uncross your legs, pop your feet on the ground, then I'd like you to start tapping your toes. Just tapping one toe after the other. Tap, tap, tapping. Tapping as fast as you can. Just keep tapping, and then stop the toes from tapping and start tapping your heels. So heels, heel lifts, tap, tap, tapping the heels. What are we doing? We're doing exercise. It's as simple as that. Oh, look at this. Perfect. So we're doing exercise. So that's the presentation that I'm going to talk to you about today. So I just wanted you to feel how simple it can be to do some exercise. This is what happens when we age. There's a few little pointers here, and probably most of us have experienced ageing because we start to age at quite a young age. Does anybody know what age we start to age?
15.
Close. We start to age around 25. I heard someone yelling that from the back. It's about 25 that we start to age. And all of these things occur when we do start to age, and aging impacts every system of our body, which is really, really important to understand. And what if I do a hypothetical with you and I say to you that at the University of Canberra at the moment, we're developing a pill that can do all of these things and prolong your ageing. Would you take that pill that we're developing at the University of Canberra? Yes, there's a few nods. Do you think I'm telling the truth about this pill? No. So there isn't a pill, but there is something that does do this for us. I'm just going to play a short video which kind of puts exercise into context and how powerful it can be.
Get doctors to see exercise as medicine.
There is no medicine that can treat a range of chronic conditions like exercise can. We have many medical practitioners that actually are, if you like, exercise therapy naive. They're not familiar with the role of exercise in a particular chronic disease and the mechanisms underlying it and what impact it has as well.
The impact can be huge. Take Margaret. She was diagnosed with high-level diabetes at age 74. Standard medications didn't make a huge improvement to her blood glucose levels.
After 4 years, I didn't get the count down very far.
With nothing to lose, Margaret turned to exercise. She's been pumping iron 3 times a week. Why strength training?
Strength training is an anaerobic activity. It requires muscle contractions, and that's a form of activity that helps to treat diabetes and primarily insulin resistance to try and bring down blood glucose levels.
And it's worked phenomenally well. In just 18 months, exercise has achieved what medication failed to. Margaret's blood glucose levels are now well within the normal range.
So Margaret's gone from a high-level diabetic to non-diabetic, essentially, at the age of 80.
Essentially, yeah.
That's incredible.
It is, and it shows what impact exercise can have if you do it routine.
So that's one example of how powerful exercise can be. And at age 80, Margaret went back down to her normal levels and her diabetes was cured by exercise. So it's just showing one example with one condition that exercise can help you with. So the pill, you would take the pill, you said. Well, there isn't a pill, but the pill that we're talking about today is exercise. It's more potent than a lot of the pills that are on the market now. So I'm too busy, can exercise really help? So that's the way we think at the moment. I don't have enough time to move. I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just going to not worry about it. I don't feel that it can help. But what the research tells us is that it absolutely can. And some of my colleagues at the University of Canberra have recently submitted an amazing review on cognitive function and exercise in older adults. And it came out in a glowing report that, if you are physically active and doing exercise, that your cognitive function is definitely maintained throughout life. So you have less decline than the people that don't move. So that's a really interesting study that came out, and it took into consideration thousands of articles and thousands of research over the years, and it put it all together and it came out with this evidence, which is very strong, and we really need to start to listen to it and start moving. It reduces our risk and fear of falling, and that's really important. Home-based programs, so some of us, we can't get to a gym or we don't have access to equipment, but home-based programs can actually be just as beneficial, and in the long term maybe even more beneficial for us. Exercise training is important in diseases such as diabetes, but also heart failure. So people with heart failure, it's a very debilitating change and disease that people go through. And quite often the impact of exercise on some of the more debilitating conditions is even stronger. If we can get people with heart failure moving, we can see some excellent responses and results in physical function. It helps maintain good health and a risk of all of the other illnesses. So it improves well-being across many health domains throughout life, which is really important to understand, and it is linked with healthy ageing profiles. And we know that now. We've got a lot of evidence that suggests that's for us. So what should I be doing? I don't exercise. What do I need to do to start doing some movement, some physical activity and some exercise? Well, first of all, it's really important you get the right advice. So get the advice of an exercise physiologist or a physio or a healthcare professional such as your GP who knows about your health. Get their advice to start with. That's really, really important. And you can start exercising even if you have an array of health conditions. And what the evidence tells us, and the World Health Organization says, is that adults over the age of 65 should move a minimum of 150 minutes per week. And that's a moderate exercise. That equates to 5 times a week getting out and going for a walk. So they say at a minimum we need to do that to gain the health benefits. We need to have a minimum of 10 minutes at a time, but Diane's going to get into more information about that in her presentation on how you can build that up over time. So we also should definitely look at our resistance exercise. So our 150 minutes is our huffing and puffing. Our resistance-based exercise is, using bands or using our own body weight to build the muscle strength. So we also need to make sure we get the muscle contraction exercise, and we should be doing either machine weights, free weights, body weight or elastic bands 2 to 3 times a week. So I would suggest a minimum of 2 times a week to keep your muscles strong so you can do things at home like lift things up in the cupboard or reach for things or get in and out of the car or up and down the stairs. So really, really important to work on function of your lower body as well as your upper body to keep your ability to move and do things. But we mustn't forget about some other really important things as we age. One is balance. So we need to maintain our ability to balance so we lessen our risk of falling. We also need to build and keep our bone mineral density. So we need to keep our strong bones as we age. Obviously, as soon as we turn 25, everything goes this way, and exercise can help us maintain or even build a level of strength in our bones. So we need to make sure we take that into consideration. So there's a lot to think about. So if it is confusing, I definitely recommend you see somebody who knows all about what should be done. And one of the things I want you to walk away with today is to stay active, and I know a lot of you are, and I want to say well done, congratulations at your age for maintaining that activity, because a lot of people don't. And some of you in the room are definitely doing that, so congratulations, well done, and be active for life. Thanks for having me.